Hey guys, this is going to show you how to handle the exponential functions that are on the STAR exam. So I'm going to show you how to use your calculator to graph exponential functions and how to solve using exponential functions. Now, exponential functions are functions where the exponent itself is an exponent. So if you look at a variable, so if I look here, the exponent is a variable. So this is an exponential function, which means your exponent is going to be your variable. So let's look at how we can do this. So we're going to go back to our menu. And again, click open your start menu, go down to TI, and you will see the calculator. You can open up the calculator utility here, TI NSpire, so that you can actually use the software on your computer. So once you get here, I'm going to open a new graph. So I'm going to select graph, and I'm going to do an exponential function. So an exponential function is graphed on the grid. Let's look at number 9. This is from the 2019 release STAR. What function is best represented by the graph? Well, a lot of people struggle with exponential functions because the exponent is the variable. It's different than any of the functions that we generally tackle, like a linear or a quadratic or a cubic. This time the x is actually the exponent. So this is how you input it into the calculator. So I did my graph, and I'm going to actually input each one of these and see which one looks like the graph that they presented. So the first one is 6 parentheses 1/3, and so 1/3 is 1 divided by 3. And then we want to actually create an exponent. So we want the x squared to actually be the x to actually be the exponent. So there's actually two ways you can do this, and I'm going to show you two ways that you can actually do this. So the first one that you can do is you can actually do the caret. Now, what a caret is this a little thing right here. The caret's the little up arrow. That actually makes things into exponents. That's what that little caret is for. And then, of course, you will press X, because our function is 6 times 1/3 to the x power. When you hit enter, you'll see that it looks very similar to the one that's on the screen. So if I look at the one that's on the screen and the one that's here, I can say, well, yeah, that's a possibility. Those look very similar. This one actually crosses the y-axis at 6. So let's see if that is actually true here. So I'm going to hit menu. I'm going to go to Analyze Graph. Or actually, I'll go to Trace, and I'm going to go to Graph Trace. And you'll see the little trace spider pop up, and I'm going to move left and right. Y-intercept. The y-intercept here, as you see down at the bottom, is 6, just like it is in the picture. So this is a very valid possibility. So let's kind of sleep on this one, and let's move on to the next graphs and see what we get. So I'm going to go back to menu. I can't discount A. A looks like it might be our winner, but let's make sure. I'm going to go to graph, function, and now I'm going to graph this one. So I'm going to come back over here. I've got 6 times 3 to the x. Okay, so again, you hit your caret key and x. Well, that one's out. That one looks nothing like that. So I can actually come back over here and say, well, it's not that one, because you can see that that red graph is going the other direction. It does not look anything like this one. So I'm going to go back to the menu, graph, functions, because remember that's all we're doing is functions. And let's enter C. So C is 6 minus, be careful, minus 1 divided by 3, 1/3. Hit your caret to the x. Uh-oh, that doesn't look anything like our graph either, so C's out. So we're left with one option, okay? Our last option is D. So let's check out D. Graph, you hit menu, graph, entry or edit, function, and now let's enter this one. So 6 minus 3 We'll do our little caret to the x. Hit enter. Again, that looks nothing like the original. So, in fact, our winner is A. That is the one that looks exactly like your graph. But that's how you enter the exponents when you go into the graph. A lot of people have trouble with exponents. This caret key that you see right here is how you put things to a power. If I actually wanted to go back and just do a regular calculator, I could do 9, and I can hit the squared key to do 9 squared, right? 9 times 9. But I could also do 9, hit the caret key, and hit 2, and I get the same answer. So that little caret key, that little up arrow, is going to be the best option for you to actually put something up to a power. That's the easiest way to do it, and that's probably your best option. So that's how you can use these for exponential functions. Now, there's another question on the test that is an exponential function. And so let's scroll down, just like we're looking through social media, because that's all we do is scroll and scroll and scroll. And let's look at, that's a quadratic. We did that in the other video. I'm going to find an exponential function for you here that's linear. There's another one. And this is something that people just tend to struggle with. I know it's a, here's one right here. So 31. This table represents some points on the graph of an exponential function. Now, if you remember in the other video, we did what was called a regression. And so I'm going to do a regression here so that you can actually put in the table values and find the function itself. So you're actually going to input the table. If you remember, if you've watched the other video, we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to do new. And we're going to do list and spreadsheet. I'm going to do a new list or spreadsheet. I'm going to go up to A and call that X. Those are my X values. I'm going to go to B and call those my Y values. You have to tell the calculator what your X's and Y's are. So I'm going to enter -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Where did I get these numbers? Right here. Those are my X values. So now I'm going to go to the Y column and I'm going to enter my Y values, which is your f of x values. So 12.5, 15, 18, 21.6, and 25.92. Okay. Once you have your table data entered, remember, you're going to create a new document. Anytime you enter a spreadsheet worth of data and you want to find an equation, you're going to enter the data in the spreadsheet, designate your X and your Y, then you're going to create a new document. So I'm going to hit Control, Document. That's going to give me a new document. And I'm going to do Add Data and Statistics. Okay? So I've put in my data in a spreadsheet. I went to the menu, I hit Control, Document, added a new document with data and statistics. Remember from the other video, we have to tell the calculator what your variables are for your graph. Well, what's always our default? X is your horizontal. I'm going to click up here and I'm going to add Y. So now you can see that exponential relation forming. Okay? So now I've told the calculator what the values are. We've created a graph. We are now going to analyze this graph and have it give us an equation that best models this data. So I'm going to go to Menu, and I'm going to go to Analyze, and then I'm going to go to Regression. Okay, remember regression? All regression means is you're taking a set of data and you're fitting it into a model. You're fitting it into an equation of some sort, whether it be a line, a parabola, or quadratic, a cubic. This is exponential. So I'm going to do Show Exponential, and there is my equation. Now, if you look at your answer choices over here, first of all, your coefficient is 18. So I can come over and cross out A and C, because those have a coefficient or an A term of 15. My A value is supposed to be 18. So the next thing is, what's inside the parentheses that's actually being put to the exponential power is 1.2. So your task is to figure out which of these equals 1.2. 6 divided by 5 or 5 divided by 6. If you do it intuitively, 1.2 is greater than 1, right? Which means our fraction should have a larger number at the top than in the bottom, the numerator, and then in the denominator. So that is intuitively going to be our answer. But if you wanted to figure this out, calculator, just go to your menu, or sorry, go to your home button, do a calculation, and we can do 6 divided by 5, which gives you that fraction, and we can do 5 divided by 6, which gives you a fraction. So once again, you're stuck. There are two ways that you can actually get a decimal answer. There's two ways. The first way is after you do your division, 6 divided by 5, you put a period or a decimal point in there. That indicates that you want a decimal answer. So you hit enter, and there you go, 1.2, which is the correct answer. The other way that you can do it, if you put in 1.2 and you hit enter, notice you'll get the decimal answer again, so that's not going to help you. There is a setting that you can go to. If you go back to your home screen and you go to settings and you go to document settings, there's a setting you can go to. When it says, let's see here, calculation mode, display digits, you've got float, you've got auto calculation mode, you can do approximate. When you change that to approximate, now when you go to the calculator, when you do the division, the approximation will come up as a decimal. So let me show you this again. I'm going to clear all this off. I'm going to clear my scratch pad. Just to review, if I have a fraction and I want it to come out as a decimal, I can't do standard unless I've changed the mode. So I'm going to go back to my settings and I'm going to change it back to what it was. Go to auto. Okay. So if I go to calculate, the way your calculator is set up, if I do 6 divided by 5, it's just going to give me the fraction. I can do 6 divided by 5 and then put a decimal point after it. That indicates I want a decimal answer. Or I can go up to my home screen, go to settings, go to document settings, and I can change my calculation mode to approximate. Now, every time I do a calculation, it will come out to a decimal. But you got to remember, if you're going to be looking for fractional answers, you have to be able to switch it back and forth. There is also a menu where you can convert to fractions. But that's the easiest way that you can get the decimal out of it. So anyway, that's how you can use the exponential functions on the calculator and find the actual equation from a table and then actually graph the function.